Alright guys, Soopa-Dave here with a video on what you should know and tips and tricks for starting out in Conan. A lot of videos are getting older on Conan, and a lot of people that are putting videos out that you can tell they just don't play survival mode. Um, we've been playing again on this run for like 5 days. And I found some pretty helpful things again. I mean, I played this game a lot when it came out, obviously, and whatnot, but being back, there's some changes, and I thought there'd be some really cool tips to help you guys out. Um, Starting out with, when you get into the map, you're going to spawn in down here, and you probably, if you're watching this, have already spawned. So, before you set up a base or do anything, along the shore, which, most of you guys do. And, I mean, it's wise to do. You're going to want to go put maybe a bedroll, just put a bedroll down, and go just explore. That's the easiest way to get XP in the game, is all this. I mean, I don't have all of them learned, but in 5 days, I mean, I got quite a bit of them. And the reason is you don't want to die and lose stuff. And in this game, you can outrun any enemy. I have not, even the tigers and the wolves can't catch you when you're sprinting, even at level 1 with no points in. So you can just run by everything. And you can make it from here all the way up to here. So without no food or water when you just spawn in. I know, because I did it. This is what I did. I went exploring essentially day 1 before I had anything. And it's a really good way of leveling and getting to know the map, honestly. So that's kind of a helpful hit right there. Oh, and the reason I bring up exploring in the beginning of the game is in the beginning of the game, it's kind of hard to build all the stuff you need because you're just not high enough levels. So you need to gain levels, which is common in a lot of games, but especially in Conan, because you can't even tame guys, I think, until like level 15 or something like that. So, I mean, that's what you're really going to get, your goal is to do. So, up here, when you're exploring, just keep in mind, all around, all the way out over here, there's obelisks in the map. There's one here. The important ones are like here, here, over here, and there's one up here. And the obelisks, when you're exploring, you basically just want to run up, hit square, and go while you're exploring. Now, when you get up here, you probably die by the time you get to this one. This one you probably won't reach right away, just for the pure fact of the cold. Will probably kill you without cold armor. Now, that being said, you can even get these down here at the bottom like I did, and that'll help you out. And then there is another obelisk here. You might as well get them, because later on in the game, if you're not aware, this is what's called a map room. It's essentially a teleporter. You can teleport in all these locations. I'm missing 2 yet, but I'll get them. And these are the locations you can teleport on the map, and they're very handy. It'll save you a lot of time later, and a lot of times if you play official like I do, people will have map rooms built by the obelisk, so you can teleport back, close to your house. So that'll help you out later in the game too. So, alright guys, so you'll see these colored icons on the map, but no, they're not something I did. What they are is essentially the city for the region that they're in. Like, this is Semperua, and I'm probably murdering that, which is fine. And Mountains of the Dead. These are essentially cities for the area that they're in. Like you see, there's one over here in the jungle. There's one over here in the desert, which is actually an underground city, which is really neat. The Black Galleon to the north, which is a really good place to get Thralls. Not necessarily fighting Thralls, but like your your carpenters and stuff, which you'll get into later. This one has dragons at it. This is a really good thrall place. This is my favorite place in the game, this whole area right here to get thralls. And this is a pretty decent place to get thralls. It is a little more dangerous than other areas. So I figured I'd explain that to you, because you probably were looking at the map and you're probably like, what is going on with that colored thing? So getting you going in the beginning of the game, you're probably going to want to build around this area. The enemies aren't too bad. And you're only going to be there for a day or two. Basically to get like a good couple fighter thralls or something like that. There is a huge difference in the south, and I'll actually go show you. Regionally, thralls are different fighter-wise. So we'll go in here real quick, and I'll show you one of my brand new guys. This is a northern guy. And the northern guys and the volcano guys are the best. I just want to show you regionally it matters. So this guy's got 4,000 health, but he's got a ton of strength. In the south, they'll have almost no strength, and they'll have almost no health. Give me 1 second, and I'll take you over to Panda's base here to show you, just to prove that there's a difference here, guys. Because the thralls in the south aren't as good. Let's see here. Luca. Nope. This is the one right here. Yeah, Luca. Give me 1 second. So you can see she's level 8. She's leveled up quite a bit. Not nearly as much health as a northern guy. She's from the south, and his stats are just not good. And I can show you what a level 8 northern guy looks like too, just to compare them heads up. This is a level 10 northern guy, and you can see the stats are just way better. So that's information you need to know. Also, guys, I really wouldn't recommend wasting your time on pets. They're pretty terrible. The wolf is only 1,500, almost no strength, as you can see here, and they're really not that great. The only thing maybe worth it would be greater bear, but also if you use thralls to defend your base and whatnot, you can switch them and make them use a club to knock things out, which is where we're going to get into the next tip here, guys. So when you guys start building down here, which you're probably going to want to do just to stay safe, build something small and build 1 or 2 wheels of pain, just the little guys. And what you're really going to want to do is essentially get a fighter, a higher level fighter from here, maybe a 3 or a named one. Just get them, knock them out, and you should know about thralls, you know, the fighter thralls. Then what you're going to want to do is build 1 more of them wheels of pain with some foundations to put it on. And you're going to take your fighter thrall with a truncheon, and you're going to want to come into this area. Not so much here, because you're not going to survive, but you can survive if you come over here. There's this big plateau around this city, and I will show it to you really quick, so that you can see. We're going to go up over here. This is a big plateau that runs around the whole ring of New Asgarth, and I will show it. So there's this area, you can see it goes all the way up and around. Anywhere on that area, I would definitely recommend putting a wheel, and then knocking out one of these guys at any of these towers, a fighter 3, and once you get that, you're basically safe on the map. They can fight almost any boss in the game, especially mini bosses. The world bosses might be tough if you don't have the best armor on them and whatnot, but it's a good way to get guys and level up. Also, I really recommend this area for a base, and the reason why is the thralls are really good, and this area from these towers, that river, all the way to here is just filled with really good thralls that you're going to want to use. Now, granted, there'll be people up in this area, there'll be bases built up here like crazy. So you don't want to go over there. And another reason I would say over here would be the best is you could use this obelisk to come back home, which is really handy. And also, there's tons of iron around this location. You can see where I built here. I call these the ribs. These are actually called God's Claw Passage. Okay. I actually didn't know that. I always call them the ribs. They look like a bunch of rib cages. But there is so much iron. This goes so far back and is just packed with iron. And it goes, you can see on the map, this passage goes over here and it's just packed full of iron. Also, there's iron everywhere on the back side of this as well. I'm going to take you over here and show you real quick over this hill of iron. Give me 1 second. Right over here, there's tons of iron down here as well. Really tough to see it, but you can see there's iron down there. There actually used to be a ton of iron right here. Oh, there it is. It's loaded up. But you can see there's iron down there. It's a really good spot. There's all the resources you need. Obviously, there's tons of rocks. There's some good trees here. The Thralls are good. It's close to the north for the late game stuff for black ice. I really like this spot. Alright, so now that you know about leveling up, exploring, and probably where to build a base, I'm going to help you out with some other things here. Start upgrading your building. These sandstone walls and foundations get destroyed super easy. I'm going to actually show you right over here. A wolf essentially destroyed all of this. Mini boss wolf. These are not strong, so when you get a chance, start upgrading. When you're waiting for thralls to be tamed, or whatnot, and then there's mini bosses all over the map. To fight to level up. So your next deal while you're doing this is basically you want to get to level 60. It's not too bad. It took me 4 or 5 days to get to level 60, which isn't too bad. You can do it quicker if you want and you're more serious about it, but obviously I had a lot of building projects to do when I first started, so I took me 4 days. There is a really good area, and I might take you down there actually. This area right here, really good for leveling. There's elephants, rhinos, a lot of bosses, tigers, and then actually this area down here, if there isn't houses everywhere, there's a lot of little mini bosses in here. This is a good area. You can just keep going that stretch, and they respawn really quick. Also, if you're looking for the best thrall spot for a fighter, this is called Liam's Watch. I'm gonna take you over there and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so we're back over here at Liam's Watch, and I'm going to show you where this fighter is. He spawns every time. I think I'm probably the only one on the server. So, oh yeah, it looks like these guys are going to be here. I just want you to see what a good thrall can do, by the way. Here, come down here and hit him. Perfect. Just one shot. Another reason though North is so good is you see how when these guys die, almost every time they die, you're getting steel and brimstone. Alright, so I gotta run up here before he kills the guy. This is where Liam is every time. He's a really good fighter, high attack. He doesn't have the biggest health pool in the game, but that's because his attack is so high. We're gonna back up and just let our guy take him out. Also, if you equip the fighter, or if you equip your fighter with a trudgeon, he'll knock them all out, and it'll be really hard for him not to knock out guys. And I mean, he basically can knock out any guy that comes at you or kill him if you need to switch him over to a sword. Sometimes they get a little glitchy, so be careful with that. But I figured I'd show you this spot because this is a really good spot to get a fighter that isn't in the volcano or that isn't over in the Mountains of the Dead. Also, that village right there, as you see on the map that I'm looking at, New Azagarth, that's better for leveling than it is Thralls, because there's the same Thralls you can get in there spawn around this outside. And so you don't really need to go in there because it's dangerous. If you do go in there, have this guy equipped with a sword and just kill everything. Use it to farm steel and to level up your fighter that follows you. Okay guys, I got a couple more tips for you guys here. If you want to see how I did my attributes, this is how I did them. Now granted, I'm getting stats here from encumbrance, and if I were to redo this again, I'd probably only go to the second bar of strength and maybe put some more in encumbrance. Weight's really helpful, or survival's pretty helpful. You don't need as much strength now as you used to because of these thralls. They're just really good. They're really overpowered in reality. Also, I guess if you were gonna do a pet, you could do a horse just to help carry stuff. You know, they're simple, tame, they're easy to grab in the south. You could actually grab them right over here in the north too. They're not too bad. They're also in this area. Another reason about this area that I like a lot is in these ribs, nothing spawns. You might get an occasional pig that like wanders up the hill or something, but there's nothing that spawns. There's no bosses, so you can resource gather and be left alone while you're doing it. It really helps. I mean, we built our base in the south, but then we also built essentially all this in 2 days maybe. So I just wanted to show you that. And another thing that I forgot to mention earlier in the video that I'd be very careful about doing is be careful with spending your points. You can get point potions that like reset you later, but that's not till you can beat really hard bosses, so be really careful. I would be careful on what you learn. Only learn stuff you need to. If you have a friend you're playing with, they could learn certain items like building stuff and our armor, or you could specialize and work together on that. And that would be a good way to go about doing it. Also guys, really quick, I want to tell you about the thralls in the stations. The most important ones to get are tier 2 and tier 4. And the reason that is in tier 4 and 2 they use less materials than the previous stages. That is actually backwards with what you want for smelters, because you want the speed essentially with smelters too. So every tier of a smelter will help you out. Or you could just have a bunch of furnaces. So that's one way of going about that. Well, okay guys, hopefully I didn't skip over anything, and just kind of recap. This is a really resource heavy good area for thralls. When you get in, just run around and explore. Get the obelisks so that later you can fast travel. And don't use pets, use thralls. They're going to be better. Them are pretty much the basics all wrapped up. If I could, in a summary, just explore, get your levels, and then build. Alright, thanks guys. I will see you later. Hopefully this helped you out.